right, and we are live with the second episode of Real Talk with the Real Deal. And as you can see, my guest today is Nico Suave Regoli. Nico, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. Good to be a guest on your show. I couldn't form words there for a second and almost had a stroke, but I'm happy to be here. This should be a lot of fun. I haven't really done the talk show circuit in quite a while, so I'm excited to see how yours differs from the ones I've been on or hosted.
And it may not be different. I just want to talk, get to know the MTC competitors, and I figure with this big event you got coming up in a week, what better time to have you on than now? Trivia for Thon 3, right? Is this the third one?
Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. This is there haven't really been a lot of events in the trivia space that have gone on for multiple years, and somehow this is one of the ones that has managed to break that trend. Basically, the origin of how it started was sadly I lost my father in January 24th of 2018 after a lengthy battle with brain cancer. I hope no one ever has to go through what my dad went through, because or what my family had to go through, because it was just not fun. But in that tragedy sparked inspiration, because you see, like a lot of people, including myself, who found this trivia community, they found it through the Schmodown. And I remember when we lost John Schnepp, the guys of Full Metal and Take Three, they all banded together and they just planned a charity. They planned a charity drive that lasted, I think, maybe a weekend. Um, and they planned it on such short notice. They had a live match. They had a couple of just random talk shows here and there. And ever since they had done that, I had been like, I want to do my own thing. I want to see if I can do something cool, something inspired by All In. Like, that's how All Elite Wrestling came to be, was just this one event called All In, where the
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor, New Japan, AAA, they all came, and various other indie promotions. They all came together and was just like, it's been a while since we've had a true alternative to what Vince McMahon has been putting out. Let's go and do our own thing. And so I figured, like, uh, I decided for January of 2019, my seeing as how my dad battled cancer for 14 months, I wanted to do uh, a thing where I would compete in 14 different matches over the span of a very short period of time, tape them in a very short period of time, and then release them over the course of a week. And that's essentially what Trivia for Thon 1 was. Um, it was very hard on me physically, but that was kind of the point, because this is kind of my own version of what Penn State Thon does. For those who are wondering what Penn State Thon is, Thon is an event that Penn State does every year, where they have students from every Penn State campus come to the Bryce Jordan Center at University Park and dance for 46 hours straight to help raise money for the Four Diamonds Fund, which is an organization that helps cover the cost of children battling cancer at the Penn State Hershey Medical Center. I have not been one of those 46-hour dancers, but I have gone to the Bryce Jordan Center for a couple thons. And I think the longest I've lasted consecutively was like maybe 9 to 12 hours on my feet before having to leave the building and take a break. Um, but
Understandable.
it's a very it's an indescribable experience to do that. But I wanted to see, like, could I recreate this in trivia form? And I feel like I did for Trivia for Thon 1. I lost all but one match as part of that first Trivia for Thon event, but I raised a significant amount of money. I raised, like, I think 7,000 $7,072 was my total.
Wow.
And like
Nice.
I only started promoting, like, the actual fundraising portion of the stuff, like, the week of. So, like, the fact that I was able to pull off those kinds of donations in a very short amount of time was crazy. And I had I was so proud of that I had aspirations to do it again last year. And I feel like things went a little bit better production wise, and in terms of me winning the matches, I won a lot more than I did the year before. Um, fundraising was a little bit harder. The economy keeps changing as the years go on, and
Right.
I think I raised like maybe $2,000 at least, which is still pretty good. Still pretty
Yeah.
good. Uh, Definitely not where I wanted it to be compared to the year before, but still, it's something. It's something.
Hmm.
And despite the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic and financial hardship is hard for a lot of us right now, I figured this is something that still needs to go on. This is something that needs to continue for this year of 2021, especially considering our good friend Kevin Smets is battling cancer right now. And so this year's event is in tribute to him. Um, and I think I'm up to like 250 or $300 right now in donations, which isn't a lot, but if you also consider the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's something.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'll take what I can get, um, and wear it with a smile on my face. But the main thing is like things are different this year. Like the way that people are dancing for Thon has had to change up a little bit. I think they're doing it remotely with via webcam or so. I'm not entirely sure of the specifics of how they're doing the dancing stuff this year, but I do know that they've had to change a lot of their format to make up for the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic and we can't have the entire Bryce Jordan Center packed with 20,000 plus people, because
No.
that would just become that would be a gigantic disaster in terms of containment of the coronavirus. But
Oh, definitely.
but still, we're like, I'm glad that Thon is still finding a way to keep going this year, and so I figured let me find my own way to keep Trivia for Thon going this year. And so like kept simple, trying to raise $3,000. If we reach that goal by midnight on Valentine's Day, then whoever donated the most individually, I'll let you pick my first tattoo. So that's something
Oh.
special. And what makes this one different from all the other what makes this one different from the past two trivia for thons is that this one is all happening over the span of one day. Like all the other times it's been, we'll upload 2 to 3 matches per day over the course of a week, and it'll lead to like 14 or 15 matches in total. This one we're doing 12 matches in total, and they're all airing over the course of 12 hours. I'm incorporating Twitch into the mix, so it's like you can watch the matches on their respective YouTube channels or on my Twitch channel, which, by the way, I still have not really done any testing for that yet. I should probably do that as soon as we're done with this podcast and start figuring all that out. Like, I'm a procrastinator. It's a
Oh.
bad habit that, like, even after college, you still don't break it. But like it's again, it's something that hasn't really been tried before, with at least not the way I'm doing it. Like other people, Kevin Smets, a bunch of his friends in the YouTube community, they did a 24-hour thing on YouTube just a couple months ago, and they pretty much covered all of his bills for the entire span of his cancer treatment,
Wow.
and so I'm just hoping that I can do like a fraction of that for those kids as part of the Four Diamonds Fund, and like I just want to do a good thing, if you catch my
Hmm.
drift, and I feel
Yeah.
like I've got the formula to do it. Hopefully, the execution works out well.
Oh, definitely. I think I remember being a part of it last year in the tag team match in combat wrestling, and it was a lot of fun. And just being a small part of this was pretty cool, and just the awareness that you're raising also is pretty cool. And I think any amount of money that you raise will be a success because um, you know, like they say, anything helps, right? Um, so
Absolutely.
I
By the way, that
I
that
think what
match
you're
we did last year where you were featured, that was a feat in and of itself, because somehow we managed to get all those people onto one call where they have all these different schedules that they're trying to work with, and like I I still have panic attacks. I can't make it this day. Can we change it to the day before? And I'm like, no, no, we can't. We cannot do that. We
no.
and thankfully we did not listen to that one person, and we were able to
Right.
keep things as they were, and make everything work. But yeah, that was a great match, and we've got a ton of great matches planned here for Valentine's Day as well, from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. I've got them right next to me. I feel like there are people better suited to be a hype man for this because I'm just so mellow right now. I feel super corporate, even though like I'm not making any profit off of this whatsoever. The,
Mm.
but yeah, I've got the list of matches right here next to me if you'd like me to go through them.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's run down the lineup.
Yeah, so we're obviously starting off at 11 a.m. Eastern time. The match will be taking place over at the Full Metal Trivia YouTube channel, and the match is a 35-ish question. Wait, no, it's exactly 35 questions. It's a 35 question Iron Man match, Full Metal random rules. Focused on the show Star Wars Rebels. It's a great animated show for those of you who haven't checked it out before. Again, it's one of the great things Star Wars has been able to do since Disney bought it. The movies are a different situation, but we can save that for another time. But the competitors are myself, Andrea Malbag, and Colton Roberts, who some of you may know from the Supernova show over on TMG Entertainment. That's his podcast. It's going to be the three of us competing in Star Wars Rebels Full Metal Random Rules match, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun shooting this match. There were a couple moments where we had some technical difficulties, and we had to really get improvising with the banter. We had I don't want to. We had a conversation about cheese to keep things going while we tried to get some camera issues fixed. But that conversation in and of itself was a fun one, and the match was a fun one to watch too. So I think you'll be really happy with that one when it comes out.
Nice. I'm always down to hear people talk about cheese. So I'm that alone sells me on the match, and that'll be one I'm watching for sure.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel the need to undercut my own product here, but it's like I do it for the sake of the humor. But I don't know. Again, there are probably better people than myself to be a hype man for this stuff. I'm just here to give you the specifics in my own Asperger's way. But that's what we got planned for 11 o'clock. Then at noon, we're heading on over to Multiplex Entertainment for a 3-round Phantom Fights rules match. This one is actually going to count on the competitors' records. It's debut versus debut. And believe it or not, family member versus family member of two well-established members of the trivia community. We have Abby Coho, the little sister of Caleb Coho, taking on Eli Boatman, who is, I believe, the nephew of Caleb Boatman. Now we have actually it's not debut versus debut because we have seen Eli Boatman compete before. He competed against Brooklyn Vale. Did not really look like he knew a lot about the movies he was being asked, but he knew how to keep the banter interesting. And pretty much every word out of his mouth was a threat to his uncle. So if you like watching little kids who look super intimidating for their age yell at people, this is the match for you.
Interesting. It's an interesting way to sell the match, but once again, I'm there.
Hey, again, there are better people than myself to be a hype man. I'm gonna say this over and over and over again. I'm just letting you know that.
Good.
I'm just letting you know the facts. Eli Boatman threatens his uncle Caleb a lot, and so expect some things you would not expect to hear from a child's mouth, or rather, things that you would hear from a child's mouth that would worry you and maybe cause you to call a therapist later on.
I was about to say, you'd be surprised what comes out of a child's mouth.
There was an entire show based on that concept. Kids say the darndest things. It was hosted by someone we can't talk about anymore.
No.
Why am I bringing this up why am I bringing that up on this show? Anyway. So for the next 3 matches that we have on the card, I have to give a little disclaimer. Because one of these matches went a little shorter than expected. One of these matches went longer than expected. So I might have to jumble. So there might be some last minute jumbling things around to make sure this all fits within a 3 hour span. But as it stands right now, what you're going to get at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time is a match happening on this channel that you're watching right now, Nerd Entertainment Network. It will be the Movie Trivia Challenge Singles World Championship as Corey Quinto defends his title in a 5-round affair against my fellow Pittsburgher, the notorious Russell Howell. And one of the things I like about this match is that for those who have been following the trivia community for a long time, Russell Howell has sort of always been like the Marty Jannetty in the circles he follows. Like, so Chance Ellison, his first tag team partner, Chance Ellison got to be a champion in pretty much every league he competed in. And meanwhile, he left before he and Russell could make a run for the tag belts. Then Russell pairs up with Matt Quellar over in Full Metal Trivia. Matt Quellar becomes the team's champion over in Multiplex's movie Warzone, but he does that with Thomas Ians. Russell is still beltless. So again, that pattern of being the Marty Jannetty of every circle he's been a part of continues. And I'm very curious to see if Russell Howell can break this trend, if he can finally have his shining moment in the sun, because Corey Quinto, he's been very dominant so far since his reign as champion began when he won it in the MTC free-for-all. Either way, it's the stories that are being told in this match are going to be fun to watch play out. The competition between these two is going to be top notch. Like, these two wouldn't be fighting for the belt if they weren't worthy of it. So expect a lot of knowledgeable movie trivia being shown, and either someone's star is going to continue shining or someone's star is going to finally rise.
Yeah, I've seen both these guys compete, and they definitely know their stuff. I'm always in awe when I watch Corey compete. I think he rarely misses a question, so this is a match I'm definitely looking forward to. I think this one could go down to the last question. At least that's my hope.
Well, you'll. I'm trying to be careful because like we've taped all the pre-recorded stuff, and like I know I have that tongue that will just accidentally let something slip, and we're live, so like I have to be very careful. But I basically what I'll say is I think you'll be happy with the end result.
Glad to hear that.
Okay. So next up, scheduled for now, at least for the 2 p.m. slot, we might have to move it up like 15 minutes or so, like depending on how things play out, or push it back. Like, again, it's all going to depend on the editors at this point if they can keep things down to a certain length. But what we have next,
card subject to change.
I always put that disclaimer there. But next up, we got moving on over to Adelaide Spencer's channel opening night. We have a special Star Wars exhibition. It's a 5-way, 60 questions. If you're wondering which match went long, this is the one. And those 60 questions, the fact that it's 60 questions with 5 people is exactly why. It's myself taking on Joe Farrelly, taking on Thomas Scully, taking on David Garcia, taking on Caleb Coho. Basically, it's a battle of it's a civil war of Multiplex's Kingsman faction. Yes, I am part of the Kingsman, and so like this match was fun. There were a lot of Adelaide tried to stump us a lot of the time, if we didn't know the answer, we had some very fun joke answers on our boards. And then other times we had the right answers. How many of those you'll have to watch and find out. But nevertheless, it's an entertaining match that you should not miss. And again, there are better people than myself to be hype man.
Man, 60 questions. That sounds like a marathon.
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I'm gonna spoil something the longer I talk. But you're gonna be entertained. You're gonna be entertained. I can promise you that.
And that's what I think these trivia matches should be about. Like, sure, the competitors want to win. Winning always feels nice, but for me anyway, when I competed, like if I could just entertain, then I think the match is successful. So entertaining and raising awareness for a good cause. I think Trivia for Thon 3 is going to be successful, no matter what the outcome of these matches are.
I certainly hope so. And again, I've seen a lot of things happen in this community. Like I've seen a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Like and I've been on the ends of a lot of them. I've like first trivia for thon we did $7,000+ yay. Second one we did barely 2,000. Oof, big like, and doing this in a pandemic again. I like you said, I'll take what I can get. I'll take what I can get, but I'm still a very goal oriented guy, and I hold myself to a certain standard. I hold the products that I put out to a certain standard, and if one of them doesn't live up to them, I'm gonna feel it inside. Like that. That's just the kind of person I am. But I feel like so far
Right.
the matches that I've laid out for you, I was entertained filming them. Yeah, I feel like you're going to be entertained watching them as well. So I'd say so far so good. Um, Again, really hoping I'm not spoiling anything, but I feel like I am. I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I don't think so. As long as we don't know who wins, we just know the matches are entertaining. I mean, I think you're selling it pretty well. You're giving people a reason to watch. So I don't think you're spoiling anything. So don't worry about that.
Thank you, thank you. Moving on to 3 o'clock p.m. Or could be earlier. Again, it's all going to depend on the editors and how we can make these matches fit into this 3 hour block that I've just laid out. But this next match, something you might have some investment in. It's the Combat Wrestling Trivia Undisputed World Championship. Matthew Rosa defending his title once again, this time against the former NoDQ.com Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion and the current two-time Takamania Trivomania champion, Chris Cass. He won the Combat Wrestling Trivia New Year's Rumble this past January to win himself this opportunity to challenge for Matthew's title. Will he win it? Will he lose that opportunity? You'll find out here. All I'll say is, if you've been paying attention to the product over the past year or so that Matthew has been champion, he's just been unbeatable. Like the last two challenges he had was Andrew Hayes when he had to win the title, and me, and that was because the match he had with me was on such short notice. The after a last minute opponent change. But other than that, he's been pretty much dominant in every single match he's had. But Chris Cass, he's shown in the few times he's been in Combat Wrestling Trivia that he is someone to watch out for. Like he beat me in his debut. He had some. He showed a lot of his knowledge in the Name That Wrestler game that JB3 created. So like it's all going to come down to, as we've seen in numerous matches before, titles or not. It's all going to come down to what questions are asked and do they fall within the wheelhouses of these competitors.
Right. This is definitely a match I'm looking forward to. That's the league I mainly compete in. I'm kind of taking a break right now because we just have so many good competitors over there right now, and that I feel like I'm not up to par with them. But hopefully, maybe soon, a comeback could happen. I think this match could be Matthew's biggest challenge to date with Chris Cass. I think he really brings a challenge that Matthew hasn't seen before, and he's faced both the guys in the faction I'm a part of, the Real Deal, Brandon Rutledge and Michael Turner, and he's beaten them both, and he beat Brandon pretty convincingly. Those third and fourth rounds are no joke, and that's where Matthew really shines. I think if Chris can hang with him there, then this could get interesting.
You are right on both accounts to say that Chris Cass is likely Matthew's toughest challenge to date, simply because he has that championship experience of having competed on other channels and other places. Um, that said, Matthew Rosa has beaten guys who we have previously said were his toughest challenge to date, and he made it look easy a lot of the time. So, like, again, anything can happen. It's all going to depend on what questions these two competitors got in their match. You're going to find out at 3 o'clock. At least that's what that's how it's laid out right now on Valentine's Day. You're going to find out who walks out as Combat Wrestling Trivia's undisputed world championship. Will it be Matthew Rosa continuing his reign, or will it be Chris Cass starting a new reign? Which is kind of the trend of Trivia for Thon, is like Andrew Hayes became the first champion at Trivia for Thon 1. Matthew Rosa became the new champion at Trivia for Thon 2. Could Cass continue that trend of like a new champion every Trivia for Thon, or will Matthew break that trend and head into the Clash of the Combatants round robin tournament as the champion? We'll find out very soon.
That's a nice little subplot going into this match that I was not aware of. I knew Matthew won it last year. I wasn't around for the first Trivia for Thon, though. I've just been around for the last year and a half or so.
You know what? Thinking about it now, when we tape this match, I'm not sure if I wove that little storyline in or not. I can't remember for certain. So, like, if I forgot, that's a gigantic missed opportunity on my part. But hey, I'm laying it out for you now.
Now we just use it in the build-up.
Indeed. Okay, so moving into 4 o'clock, where there are no more issues with time, as far as I'm aware. Like this one is definitely going to fit within the 60-minute block that I've given it. 4 o'clock, we're heading back over to Multiplex Entertainment, back to Fandom Fights, this time in the teams division. And this one has a lot of stakes on the line. It will be the team of America's Asses. That is the Full Metal Trivia Teams champion, Brian Michaels, and the Multiplex Entertainment TV Throwdown and Fan Zone Debate champion, Jacoby Bancroft, taking on Albert Wiradharma and a team's partner of his choosing that will be announced when the match takes place. Now, Albert Wiradharma was on his way to a title opportunity in the teams division. Some things happened, and his team unfortunately had to dissolve for this season. So he was given an opportunity to find a replacement partner. We'll find out who that replacement partner is at the time of the match. Meanwhile, Jacoby Bancroft, as we know, because he just got drafted to the Schmodown, he's been on a tear in the past year in pretty much every league he's competed in. And Brian Michaels, he has shown himself to be a great player in pretty much all movies, not just general, but also in Multiplex's Fandom Fights world as well. The winner of this match will get a title opportunity at the Knights of Ren for their team's titles at a future to be determined date. The big caveat here is, though, even if America's Asses wins, is it going to be Brian and Jacoby fighting for those titles, or is it going to be someone else? Because as we know, Schmodown contracts kind of make you exclusive to the Schmodown. So, like, the main reason why I haven't changed the billing is because that's Multiplex's prerogative to do. As it stands right now, the winner of this match is supposed to get a title shot. Could it be a situation that Albert is in? If America's Asses wins, is Brian Michaels going to find himself in the same spot that Albert is in right now, of getting a title shot but having to find a partner at random to accept that challenge? Or did Albert find himself a great partner that could pull off the upset against this team that has so far been unbeatable except for one match? You're going to find out at the 4 o'clock hour. And basically just a whole lot of subplots weaving themselves around, making this thing that much more interesting. The exclusive contracts of the Schmodown and Jacoby now being part of the Rockstars faction in the Schmodown. And Albert, who's his teammate? That's a big question that should be on everyone's mind, is who's the mystery partner? Who did he get? I'm as excited as you are to find out who that is. Again, we'll find out at 4 o'clock.
Oh, I'm liking all these subplots that are inserting themselves into these matches. It's definitely making this more intriguing.
Uh, I love it when there's a story within a story that like for some reason I'm the only one who's actually pointing out those little subplots, and that maybe that's because I care too much about this game and everything that happens in every league. But it's like I find or maybe it's just because we're both wrestling fans that we like those little stories that add to what just seems like, oh, person A versus person B. No, there's actually history there, or there's something going on behind the scenes that makes this matchup more intriguing. And there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that makes this matchup more intriguing.
Well, I will definitely be putting that match on my radar. And 4 o'clock, probably know what I'm doing.
Yep, 4
It's either
o'clock.
that or it's
Oh,
either that or NXT. It's either that or NXT. I'm not quite sure yet, but you're selling this pretty well. So
I mean,
NXT could always wait till the next day.
NXT is happening at 7 o'clock. So
I'm West Coast.
well, then it's 1 o'clock for you.
No, it's 4 o'clock for me. That
I'm
match would be 1 o'clock for me.
I'm saying that this
Oh,
match
okay.
on Multiplex Entertainment, that will be 1 o'clock for you, so you're fine.
Okay. So
Everything I'm saying is happening in Eastern time.
got it.
Yes. So yeah. One last time for in case there was any confusion there. Multiplex Entertainment, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. America's Asses, Jacoby Brancroft and Brian Michaels takes on Albert Weird Dharma and a mystery partner. Winners get a shot at the Knights of Ren for their Phantom Fights Tag Team Championships. And then we start getting into the stuff that will actually be happening live. So Featured Presentation Productions is the channel. It's run by Tony Heald. And right now we don't have the players chosen yet. That's going to be figured out closer till like just a few days before the match actually airs. But it's going to be a tag team match in Featured Presentation Trivia League rules. To be determined and to be determined versus to be determined and to be determined. And Tony likes to really emphasize fun in his league. So like he doesn't really like to put a whole lot of stakes in his team's matches. He's just like, I want to see like, okay, you signed up. I'm just going to pair you all up at random. See how you gel chemistry wise. See if you have any common interests in terms of the movies you watch, and we'll figure out how things go from there. I've played in there twice. I've hosted in there once. I've played in there once with Andrew James Barr, who's the current movie Warzone singles champion. And I played in there with Corey Quinto, who is the current defending movie trivia challenge champion. Both times we lost, and I think it's mostly my fault for both of those times, but somehow I did well enough that we hung around until the final question. So like, I won't say I play better than I expect of myself in this league. Will I be playing in this match? I don't know. Will I be co-hosting in this match? I don't know. I'm going to make my decision closer till. I'm going to discuss that with Tony, and we're going to figure out what's going to happen with the other 3 people or 4 people, depending on if I compete or host. We're basically, you'll find out soon who will be a competitor in this match, but whoever gets chosen, it's going to be a fun time all around for that hour. 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time is on Featured Presentation Productions, or again on my Twitch channel, where I'll just be simulcasting all these matches as they happen in real time.
All right. Again, this is all for trivia for Thon. Just real quick, where can people donate? That link is live right now, correct?
Yes, that link is live right now, and it is it's actually my lower third, as you can see. Donate.thon.org/campaign/trivia, the number 4, THON, the number 3. We're raising money for the Four Diamonds Fund as part of Penn State's annual Thon event, covering the cost of children battling cancer over at Penn State Hershey Children's Medical Center, or rather the children's wing of the medical center. For the record, COVID had kind of hit the hospital hard when there was news of all the hospitals having to like shuffle beds and create new wings just to help with COVID treatment. The children's wing where the kids were being treated for cancer was affected by all those shifts. I don't know if they've since managed to put some beds back or not, but again, COVID does not exclude, neither does cancer. So, like, whatever you can do to help these kids battling cancer, as the hospital they're getting treated at is also dealing with some struggles simply because of the times that we're living in. Everything matters. Every dollar makes a difference. So, please. And again, if you like watching people suffer, I'll get a tattoo for you if we reach $3,000 by midnight and you're the highest donor.
And this is midnight of what day?
So basically 11:59 p.m. Eastern time of Valentine's Day. So like a minute before the clock on my end goes from February 14th to February 15th.
All right, so we got a week, guys. Let's get him this tattoo.
Yeah. And for the record, donations will still be accepted afterwards. But if we don't make it to 3,000 before that 11:59 p.m. Time slot, then I just won't get a tattoo. And be real, you want to see me get a tattoo for your own entertainment.
It's a pretty nice incentive, I think.
For some reason, people like watching other people suffer. They like masochism. They like masochism. So I'm happy to deliver for that if it will bring more awareness to the cause.
A man of the people.
But anyway, what's next on the agenda here for the matches? Oh yeah, another live one. Going back to the Full Metal Trivia YouTube channel. As it stands right now, this is a 3-round Full Metal Classic 7-way match. More players could be added. I don't know. Malcolm suddenly started experimenting with matches having 8 people in them. So like there might be room for one more player in this. Now I talked to Malcolm earlier today and I said, I'm not entirely sure if I want to be a player or if I want to be a co-host for this, but I do have some people in mind for this match. I'm not, because he is going to let me pick a couple people if I want to. There are some people in mind who I want to be in this match, and he's willing to hear those ideas out. All I'll say is there are a couple people who haven't played in a while that I'm close to, that I'm kind of curious to see if they still got it or if they lost a step. And this might be their proving ground to reintroduce themselves to people who haven't been around for a while. But yeah, you can watch that at 6 p.m. Eastern time on the Full Metal Trivia YouTube channel.
I don't like losing to one person, so I'm not sure if I could lose to 7 others as well. I don't think an 8-way match would be my thing.
Now, I will say this. Usually, a Full Metal Classic happens under elimination rules. So, like, 1 or 2 people get eliminated every round. But because this is for charity, I don't think we'll be doing elimination rules for this one. Basically, I want everyone to have a chance to do well in a match. And the reason why I'll say the reason for that is because there are some stakes on the line for a lot of these non-title matches. I haven't laid out those stakes just yet, but I will explain what those stakes are once we get to the main event, which is a few more matches down the line here. But yeah, that Full Metal Classic 7-way, possible 8-way, 3 rounds, non-elimination, as far as I know right now. That's how it stands. 6:00 p.m. Eastern time on the Full Metal Trivia YouTube channel. I feel like I repeat myself sometimes. Now, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it happens. I repeat myself a lot too. But then again, I work with kids, so I feel like I have to repeat myself a lot. So I'm just used to it.
That makes total sense.
But let's keep going. What's the next match?
Oh, by the way, for those 2 matches that I just mentioned, the featured presentation one and the Full Metal Classic one, if you are a member of the Featured Presentation Productions Facebook group or the Full Metal Trivia Facebook group, be on the lookout for the sign-up posts for those respective matches, because that's how you're going to... I don't think Tony's going to let me pick who gets into his match. Malcolm has said he'll let me have some say. But like, still sign up for those posts anyway. And you might get in, and you might get a chance to play, and you might get a chance to be a part of this spectacular event. But getting back to the pre-recorded stuff, TMG Trivia is hosting a TMG Sports Trivia match at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this is when NXT Vengeance Day is starting, so this is where you might get conflicted. By the way, I worked so hard to make sure that this didn't line up, that this event didn't line up with anything that was already scheduled for that day. Like, I thought, oh, I'll do this on February 6th, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's the Super Bowl. Don't do it on that day. And then lo and behold, NXT comes in and says, like, Valentine's Day takeover. And I'm like, why? But hey, it is what it is. That's kind of why I put the Combat Wrestling Trivia title match in the afternoon, so I wouldn't have to make wrestling fans choose one or the other. But if you're a sports fan, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time, TMG Sports match, me versus Alec Miller. Now, TMG Sports they're one of the few leagues that actually uses 4 rounds, and they use 4 rounds for their standard matches. And I was very curious about the format. I like to try every format at least once. And my track record in sports matches that aren't exclusively MMA related is not great, but I I will say this match surpassed even my expectations. So uh I
That's
had
always a
fun.
good thing.
I had fun. Alec had fun. Jacob West, who hosted this match, had a lot of fun. Um, I think sports fans will genuinely be entertained, and I think I managed to avoid disgracing my city of Pittsburgh with some of my answers, which was my main objective, was to just not do so bad that I would get kicked out of my hometown.
Hey, they lost to the Browns, so I don't think you could do any worse.
I mean, still, like, if the Steelers lose to the Browns, you're expected to know that the Steelers lost to the Browns. I've managed. I performed poorly in my fantasy football league this year. And it's because I didn't watch a single game. I just went off of the stats and hoped that would get me to the finals, and I kept playing like garbage. So because I don't follow up on any, if it doesn't involve sweaty people with 4-ounce gloves beating each other senseless in a cage, I feel like I have no reason to pay attention.
I feel like that should be the new overtime rules. Each team just picks a guy, put the cage on the 50-yard line, let him go at it.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
We'll avoid ties, I think, and football games should not end in ties. So, at least not in my opinion, anyway.
Hey, by the way, happy we can't say the name of the big game, but it's the big game day. So who's playing the Chiefs and
Tom Brady's new team.
Oh yeah,
the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and like, isn't this happening in the Buccaneers' home stadium, Raymond James Stadium?
It is, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time in Super Bowl history that's happened. It almost happened. I think the Vikings had a shot when they hosted, but they obviously fell short.
Damn you, Tom Brady! Why must you be so good? This could turn into a rant if I get started on Tom Brady, so I'm just going to move on to the next match.
Hey, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I get it.
But we're heading back to Full Metal Trivia for the 8 p.m. Eastern block, and this was originally billed as a 7-way. It's now a 6-way, and I'll explain why in a minute. But it's it's the Full Metal Random Division, we're using the Full Metal Trivia Classic format for this, non-elimination. It's all MMA trivia, and the competitors are myself, Melissa Woody, Aaron J, who is one of the members of the Fight Bananas YouTube channel for those who are interested in subscribing to that. Alec Miller, who was in the sports match that just happened, that like you'll have seen in the hour before. Richie Goodacre, who is someone that you and I are both familiar with. And Grant Gregory, who is pretty much retired, but will always come out of retirement for an MMA trivia match. The seventh person that was supposed to be in this match was Luke Nepia, but due to technical difficulties related to his internet connection, he couldn't join the call successfully. So, first off, Luke, if you're watching, I'll find a way to make it up to you in the future. But this match was fun. Malcolm Lay and Mahdi Usman, I believe. What is Mahdi's last name? Mahdi Raymond were the hosts of this match. Mahdi is a very knowledgeable guy when it comes to combat sports. It helped counterbalance the fact that I don't think Malcolm knew anything about fighting, other than what is popular, like Conor McGregor. Basically, if you watch this match, you will see 6 people who really know their MMA and their MMA history, and it shows very well in this match. This was fun all around to tape. I had a blast. We got to ask some questions that I did not ever expect to be asked before, and hearing those questions asked just made me smile. Yeah, it's a fun match. It's a good match. You're gonna enjoy it when you watch it, especially if you care about MMA.
I do slightly. I like watching the fights. I wouldn't call myself like a huge MMA fan like you are, but man, who doesn't like watching 2 people just beat each other up inside a cage?
It's very therapeutic. I had aspirations to be a fighter at one point, and then college threw those plans out the window. And I had just plans to get back in shape last year, and then the pandemic threw those plans out the window. Like, I got to use my DDP yoga subscription soon. Start putting some muscle back on.
I'd like to blame my lack of being in shape on the pandemic, but it started years before that. So
fair. All right. So heading into 9 p.m. Eastern, this is the last live match of the broadcast. We're heading back to Multiplex Entertainment for Tewig's Trivia Night, hosted by Nicholas Tewig. Again, the competitors for this match will be revealed very close to the time of the actual match. And that's just the way the league works, is like Tewig likes to figure out closer to the match who will actually be a participant in it. But it'll be a 5-way. Whether or not I'm a competitor or not, up for debate. We'll figure it out closer till. But the rules are fun. For some reason, he likes to emphasize the third place winner of the matches over the first place winner, because it's like third place. That means there's still room for a lot of improvement. Whereas if you're first place, good for you. I don't know. It's a running joke of that particular show. I've won third place a few times, but I won third place in ties for last. So it's kind of like the sympathy vote. So if I am a participant, then hopefully I can get somewhere between an actual first, second, and third place. And I just want to do well. As I do with this whole charity event, which again, donate.thon.org/campaign/trivia, the number 4, THON, the number 3. Donate to the 4 Diamonds Fund as part of Penn State's annual thon event, and as part of this, raising money in tribute to Kevin Smets and to my late father, and raising money for the kids of the 4 Diamonds Fund who are getting treated over at Penn State Hershey Children's Medical Center.
Let's get him that tattoo, guys. Let's get him the tattoo.
Yes, let's do exactly that. And now we get to the main event. And this is where those stakes that I mentioned for those other non-title matches is going to come into play. So in this trivia community that we all reside in, like there are titles, but they're always all exclusive to the channels that they belong to, and they're always exclusive to the rule sets that they're competed under. Like you're not gonna see the movie Warzone title defended under Movie Trivia Challenge rules, or vice versa. Um, and you're not gonna see like the Phantom Fights championship defended on the featured presentations Trivia League channel, or vice versa. It's always like these are our belts. These are the rule sets that they will be competed under, and nothing will really change those stipulations. I wanted to do something fun. I've always liked the idea of open weight championships in sports entertainment. I've always liked the idea of hardcore championships, which can just be like, oh, we're just gonna try a whole bunch of ridiculous stuff and see if you find it entertaining. And so, basically, I came up with the idea of the Trivia For-Thon Omniversal Championship. This match will take place, I think, on both the Nerd Entertainment Network and Combat Wrestling Trivia YouTube channels. And it's basically, these are the two channels that have chosen to recognize this title as an official thing. And so I figured we'll do this first match for this title as a 5-rounder, mixed rules combining both of what these channels are good at. So you're getting a little bit of the Movie Trivia Challenges singles division, a little bit of their newly introduced Nerdum division, which is their geek stuff, and a bit of Combat Wrestling Trivia as well. And the competitor, this match will be co-hosted by James Berryman III, who is the Combat Wrestling Trivia Commissioner, as well as Christina Vassallo, Christina V, who's another Schmodown draftee, but she's also a Penn State alum, and she's a veteran of Thon herself. So this charity means a lot to her as well, and I wanted her to have a part of it. Jacoby Bancroft was used in a couple special clips where he'll ask questions as well. The competitors involved are myself, my Phantom Fights tag team partner, Rene Villarreal Jr., my former podcast co-host, Zadius Seaman Smith, my good friend, Haley Elizabeth Kenny. You love him. You love to hear him yell at you. Philadelphia Bill Carriola. Anthony Tisdall, who is Christina's husband, and who also has the connection through that marriage to this charity, and my longtime rival and brother, Jay Burns. 7-way. We've combined the worlds of movies, geek, and wrestling into this one match. And like in order to sell them to accept this match, I was basically like, hey, listen, none of us are good at all three things that are going to be asked about. So it's literally anyone's game. I could know the wrestling questions, but I don't know crap about the general movie stuff. You could know the stuff about general movies, but you don't know crap about the wrestling stuff. So some of the people in this match were primarily geek specialists. Some of them have like semi knowledge of all three, but are not experts in all three. It's anyone's game. And the main reason why I wanted these people in this match is because I want this belt to be defended regularly. I want the first champion to be someone who I can trust will honor my wishes. And so, like, if you're a great player in a lot of different things, you will definitely get a shot at this in the future. I just wanted to make sure that the first champion was someone who I could trust to hold this title with respect and honor. And so that's why it's mostly like close friends holding it. Not saying that anyone who isn't in this match isn't a close friend. I'm just saying, like, these are the people I talk with a lot of the time, if that makes sense. And yeah, at the end of we all picked strengths for round one, and then it's mostly up to fate after that. So which again fits in with the narrative of like anything can happen in this match, anything. And again, once we have a champion, that champion is going to defend that title in all mediums and all different rule sets. It's because, again, I wanted to make a title that's different from all the others. I wanted it to be interesting, and I feel like that's what I've created. Who will be that first champion? We'll find out. But again, I mentioned that there would be stakes to the non-title matches happening on the Trivia for Thon card. And it all relates to this Trivia for Thon Omniversal title match that you will see happen to close out Trivia for Thon 3 at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And basically what those stakes are is if you win, if you're a competitor in any of the non-title matches happening on Trivia for Thon 3's card, and you win that match, your name will be entered into a random drawing that will take place within 48 hours after Trivia for Thon 3 has concluded. And once I have all those names, and I've done that drawing, whoever's name gets drawn will be the first contender, the first challenger to whoever becomes the Trivia for Thon Omniversal Champion. And then we'll sit the champion and challenger down in a private chat. We'll figure out what the format and what the medium of competition will be. And we'll get that title match sorted out within the 90 days. You've never heard anyone else do this before in the short time you've been a part of this community, and that's what I like about it. It's different. It's something new. It's and that's what I want to do. That this is the type of trivia that I want to put on. Is just stuff that like it can go in a million different directions, but every direction is fun and entertaining and interesting in its own special way. I will say this though, because myself and Jacoby are in other because how do I want to put this? Because I'm in other matches besides this Trivia for Thon title match. If I were to win those matches, my name would not be eligible for the drawing. Jacoby, like, he's in the Schmodown now, so his name is not eligible for the drawing, even if he and Brian win that match against Albert and to be determined. Because, like, I basically wanted it to be like, if you were in an already planned title match for this card, you've had your shot at gold for the evening. Let someone else who hasn't had a shot at gold get that first chance at whoever becomes the inaugural champion. This is a belt that anyone can win, anyone can fight for, and I want to prove that by letting like the people who maybe haven't gotten a shot at gold before get a chance at this gold first.
I love that idea because this sounds like you said. This sounds like a championship I could go for, and I could easily, contend for it under, who knows what kind of rules. I mean, I've competed for two championships in combat wrestling. I was in the first ever workhorse title match against JB3, lost by 3 points, and then the tag team match last year for, I guess, like, you and Matthew are still technically the tag team champions of combat wrestling trivia. That was for a title, a championship.
Not if you ask JB3, but
hey, at the time though, that's what it was for.
Fair, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Like, I still want to believe that championship was a legit thing, well, that gauntlet that we had expectations for that gauntlet match, and things did not work out. But let's say that the Omniversal title is a way of making up for the promises that were not kept after that gauntlet from the year before.
Yeah.
Like, this is a title that will be defended. I will make certain it happens whether I am the winner of this match or whether I'm the loser of this match. If I lose, I'll just stick to question writing and maybe try my hand once or twice a year. But like, I want to make sure this title is treated as a proper title. I want to give it the respect it deserves. I've even said to people in the pre-taped matches, if you cannot if you win but you cannot defend this title, tell me and I won't put your name in the drawing, because I want to make sure that whoever the first champion is or whoever the first challenger is someone who can defend the title regularly and with honor. I waited until after the draft to tape this match because I wanted to make sure that the people in this match were able to play for it. That's why Christina is a host and Jacoby is somewhat of a co-host as well, because like they were originally supposed to compete for this title, and the moment they got drafted, I was like, sorry guys, I'm still gonna put you in the video, but like I need people who will bring this title the respect and honor it deserves. If you can't defend it, I can't let you compete for it. That's basically,
Right.
and that hurts inside to say, but you know what? I want to protect this baby that I'm creating.
And that's
That,
totally understandable, I think.
that was a weirdly stern way to end the discussion of the entire match card, but it, all in all, I think I've laid out a very fun equation of 12 matches over the course of 12 hours for you and for everyone else to enjoy.
I think so too. I'm not familiar with a few of these leagues, but I will definitely be checking out these matches.
And that's
I think.
another thing is like that's another reason why I created Trivia for Fun in the first place was to make certain people aware of the other leagues that exist. So it's like because I feel like the closer to a title you might get in one league, the less attention you pay to the other leagues that exist because you're so focused on winning the title in that one. But no, I'm like, we all have a place here. We're all kind of like the independent circuit of trivia, and I feel like it's a better place if we all acknowledge each other's place in that in this community we've all created for each other, and like appreciate what we all have to offer each other.
And I couldn't agree more with that. And people work hard. Like the people running these leagues, they work hard to put out a good product for people to watch. And so I think
Oh, sure.
this long event that you're putting on, and not only are you raising awareness for a good cause and raising money for a good cause, but you're providing a way for these channels to get notice and to get more views and watches, and I think that's a pretty great thing.
And yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to do because a lot of the people who would donate to this cause, they're not really part of the trivia community. They're people I grew up with at Penn State or over the course of my childhood, or they were close with my dad. They have no idea how these games we play work or what the rule sets are, or like who the hell are these people that are playing. Like they just care about my dad, or they care about the cause, or they care about Penn State, or a combination of all three. And so, like, I'm making them aware of, like, hey, this is what I do for fun, and sometimes drive myself insane over because, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I taped like 5 or 6 matches over the course of the past several days um, to get ready for this event. I felt swamped. But at the same time, I felt a great sense of reward. And
Hmm.
these league runners, they do that literally every week. They write a match, uh, they bring people together, and they bond over their loves of movies, of television, of wrestling, of sports, uh, of the arts. Because sports are an art form, whether you want to acknowledge that or not, because I know there are some people who are like they agree with Meryl Streep of like mixed martial arts is not an actual art form. Bull crap, it is. Like if you put your time and effort into a craft, it is an art form. Like uh, I'm eating fish right now. The person that the person that made this fish, that's their craft. That's their art form. Is food, is cooking, and like this game that we all play, trivia. It's an art form in and of itself. It's a unique art form, but it's an art form nonetheless. And I want us all to like appreciate how like, oh, Tony's painting the Mona Lisa. I'm painting a Picasso. The TMG Sports is doing abstract. I feel like that's a healthy way of looking at it. There's something for everybody. And I'm just trying to let everyone know that here's what's available. And like there were leagues that I wanted to incorporate that I just couldn't do for time. Like I want to give a shout out to the Cheap Seats Trivia League, which if you Look them up on YouTube. They're run by Chase Brown, who's a fellow Pittsburgher. Uh, it's kind of an East Coast regional thing. Like think of it as like I'd like to think of it as a developmental league for some of these other leagues that we all compete in. And you know, there's a new Star Wars league called the Movie Trivia Force Down that just started up last week. I don't know if I recommend playing there just yet. I'd wait until there's like more visual evidence of their product before I recommend them. But like they did put out a match, so they are trying to make some headways. They are trying to do some cool stuff of their own, and like whatever awareness I can bring to not only my charitable cause but also the work that we put in every week to entertain folks at home who just want to hear people talk about movies or wrestling or TV or sports or what have you. Uh, I, I feel like that's a good cause.
Definitely, definitely. Um, well, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about Trivia for Thon 3 again. That is happening just 1 week from today, starting 11 Eastern. So all my West Coast people like me, if you're up at 8 o'clock in the morning, um, kick it off with Trivia for Thon. It's a great cause. Again, the link to donate is right under Nico. Please go donate, not just because we might get him a tattoo, but because it's just such a good cause, helping these children out. That circumstances beyond their control. This.
Yes, and as you can see in the link to my lower third. Again, I'll say it one more time. Donate.thon.org/campaign/trivia, the number 4, THON, the number 3. We're raising money for the Four Diamonds Fund as part of Penn State's annual Thon event, covering the cost of children battling cancer over at Penn State Hershey Medical Center. We're doing it in tribute to my late father and to our good friend Kevin Smets, who's currently battling cancer right now. If we reach $3,000 or more by 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Valentine's Day, I will get a tattoo of the highest individual donor's choosing. One link I haven't been sharing that I probably should have. Like I've mentioned, all the YouTube links, all the YouTube channels that you can watch these matches on. But if you want to watch the Twitch simulcast, the link you can go to is twitch.tv/Cosmic Night Fury, the number 1. I still need to figure out how to run a Twitch stream. But 7 days, I'm sure I can figure it out. Like I'm really just using screen share. It's not like I have to do anything crazy like hook up my PS4 or anything. I mean, I will probably do that soon because I would like to try some Twitch streaming throughout the year. But like, I thankfully don't have to do any of that for this. Yeah. One more time, twitch.tv/Cosmic Night Fury, the number 1. Oh, and that's night without a K.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on and talking Trivia for Thon 3 again next week. So that is Nico Suave Regoli. I am Jacob Barber. Thank you for joining us. And again, go donate, please. All right. We'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.
Thank you.